I'm going to show you how to email to your customers whenever they complete a new purchase or a new subscription, so you can notify your customers that they actually ended up buying your product and what are the next steps. Let's take a look to this. Go to zootools.co, click on try for free, and after you sign up, create a new campaign. Click on the campaign and go to emails transactional. Click on create a new transactional email. Okay, we're gonna call this order confirmation. You can use any text or any name here, but my suggestion is to use a super user-friendly name so your developers and your marketing team can know this and they can actually collaborate in a really easy way. I'm going to choose one of the templates that we created for you by default, but you can fully customize this, modify this, so far and so on. In this case, I do want to track if the customers are actually receiving these emails and if they click or they open. So I'm just going to keep those things enabled. But if you want to boost your email deliverability, just disable them. But of course, it's kind of like a trade-off because you will not get any information on how the email is performing. Now let's actually design this template. Click on edit content. And here, let's change the subject line. Sometimes you want to also include what is the order ID, so we can actually add a hashtag, and we are going to add a variable called order ID. Let's click on Save Changes. The next thing is I want to send emails with the name of my company. So in this case, it's gonna be Jorge from zootools and reply to Jorge from zootools. By default, this is the email that we created for you on zootools, but you can actually click on Setup Domain, follow the instructions, and you will be actually start using your own custom domain for sending emails. We have another video on this email marketing series where we actually explain you how to do this. Let's click on Save Changes, and now let's actually modify the content of the email. The logo is great, but you can actually modify it here. But now we are gonna say order confirmed. Hey, name of the person, I'm just adding a variable. Hey, we just confirmed your purchase. Here are all the information you need to know to track your shipping. I'm gonna say open order tracking. And here we are gonna actually use a variable for the URL, so you can actually replace for every email, you can add any order confirmation URL that you actually want to use. Typically, this will be FedEx, UPS, or any other sort of like business that is actually tracking your orders. I'm just gonna put any random variable name, in this case, order tracking URL. I wanna keep the logo and the design like this, but well, actually we can change this to, for example, purple. The color is great, the font is great. Okay, everything looks good to me. Here we can actually use like, hey, have any questions? So we can include like, we are 24/7 on WhatsApp and via email, just reply to this message and we will take a look to your case. And here we can actually include like open support page, and in this case, you know, whatever you use for your company. In our case, we use zootools.co/support. We have multiple pages actually, but this is the main one, so we can actually come here and just paste it. This part I'm not interested, so I'm just gonna click here and delete. I'm going to also delete that part. And here's something super important to comply to the spam cam and the different laws is to include your company address. You can also include your virtual address if you have one. So just make sure to replace this and put your company address here. And in this case, since we don't have any iOS applications, we are just gonna delete that and we're just gonna delete this. By default, automatically on emails, we add these unsubscribe links. You may be tempted to delete it because it's like, oh, I don't want people to unsubscribe, but that's actually a good thing. If you don't have an option for your customers to unsubscribe from this type of emails, you're not compliant to regulations and to laws. So I strongly suggest you to keep this as it is. We have basically a self-hosted page that anytime that the customer opens the unsubscribe, they can automatically unsubscribe and that's it. You don't have to do anything yourself. If you want to delete the Powered by zootools, you will have to upgrade to one of the paid plans. So once this is done, let's actually click on preview the email so we can send a test email to ourselves. In this case, the order ID will be, for example, like 99999. The first name is gonna be Jorge and the order tracking URL, let's say, is it's like ups.com/blah blah 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 blah. Of course this is fake, but you get my point. And I'm going to use my domain. This is super useful if you work with other people. So if you have other teammates, you can actually say, hey, I'm gonna send this email also to Paul. I'm gonna sell this also to Maria, so far and so on. You click on add emails and we just send multiple emails right now. And as you can tell, I've just got the email into my inbox and looks really sick, by the way. It looks really, really good. So order confirmation, you see that we replaced the order confirmation by 99999, and then order confirm. Hey, Jorge, we just confirmed your purchase. You can click on the open order tracking. Of course, this is like a fake URL that we just added for these test purposes. We also have the open support page, so we can actually go to this page as well. That's it. So as you can tell, pretty useful. And you can also modify this. For example, let's say Jorge like that. Send multiple emails. And I just got a new email saying order confirmation 123, and then here, hey Jorge, instead of hey Paul. And super sexy, right? It's super simple. Something that I wanted to mention to you is that also you can check how this email is going to look like on mobile. So just by clicking on mobile, you can see how this looks like, and you can actually do modifications. So for example, you can say, okay, on mobile, I want this to be shorter so it doesn't occupy that much of the screen. So you can say, I just want to make this like 30 pixels. So you can actually do this, and you can tell that everything gets updated and gets adjusted. And if you want to add more things here, such as like heading text, you just like need to drag and drop and you're good to go. So now let's go back and let's see what's the last part of this, which is sending this email from your actual application. So let's click on setup. And here, if you're a developer, just go ahead. You will know how to do this. If you're a marketer and you don't have development experience, just ask your developers or send us an email at jorge@zootools.co, because we have concrete support for you. And there are multiple ways that we are working right now to actually automating this process, even if you're not a developer, to send this with our new marketing automation tool. So just feel free to reach out. But if you're a developer or you're a marketer and just want to follow the instructions, let's keep going. So we are going to copy this URL. And I'm going to use Postman, which is a service for testing APIs, for testing different services. So I'm just going to paste that URL. I'm going to copy this payload, which is all the information of the email. As you can tell, we are using this order confirmation. This is the template to use, the transactional email. This is the user to send the email to, and the data are basically variables that we want to replace. So in this case, you know, in your application, you will automatically replace the order ID by the actual order ID that maybe Shopify and other e-commerce platform gave you. The first name is going to be the existing user name, and so far and so on. So for example, in this case, I'm just going to say order confirmation 88888. The first name is going to be Jorge, and the order tracking URL, again, this is going to be a variable that you're going to be replacing on your application. For this demo, I'm just going to say, let's say, for example, ups.com order, which we can just copy the whole thing. And once you do this, let's click on send. And as you can tell, the success true and the status pending. So we are actually starting to process the email, replacing the variables, and sending the email to your customers. If I go to the email, you will see that now order confirmation 88888, Jorge from zootools, order confirm, hey Jorge, so far and so on. And that's it. You can tell it's super simple. One thing that I'm going to mention here is that in order to authenticate these requests, you will have to pass a variable, like you will have to pass a token to authenticate this request. In order to create that token, just go to settings, click on API keys, and we are just going to create, for example, like store test. Create the API key, copy the key, come here, paste the key, and now just send that request. If you don't pass any data, you will see that says status 401 unauthorized. You're not authorized to do this. But if I just paste that, boom, you are authorized. This is basically like a password. So that's it. All right, you just send your email to confirm a new purchase to your customers. In the next videos, we're going to show you more tips and tricks on how to boost your email marketing game in the email marketing course that we just prepared for you. See you in the next video and subscribe. Bye!